Good morning, guys. Today is Friday, April 11th, and I am at the Speedwell Forge hiking trail. This is not the one that goes by the lake, but the one that runs along Hammer Creek and goes, so it's on the other end of that. I came out here on Monday after an appointment just to check out the area, and there is a trail that goes out both ways. There's one to the right, one to the left, and if you make a loop out of them by adding the oak trail in there, you can make that loop and come back to your car. When I came here on Monday, there was no cars and it was abandoned. Today it looks like there's 4 other cars here, so I don't know who I'll run into along the creek, but here we go. So this is the parking lot. I saw just another car pull in there, so you can see we have a little line of cars here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 counting mine. I forgot to mention that this is located right by the wolf sanctuary in PA, if you're familiar where that is. So the way I came is I went down Mountain Road from Mount Gretna and turned on Speedwell Forge Road, and then maybe 2 miles down the road from that is the park. You go across this little bridge and you come into the parking lot. And when you get up here, there's, like I said, 2 ways that you can go from what I saw on Monday. You can hear all these words. And I'm just gonna follow my All Trails map. Check out the place. It runs along Hammer Creek on this side. I just did a Hammer Creek video last week, and as you can see too up here, there's a porta potty. So I'm going to go to the right here and see what we can see. So if you go to the right trail, the trail on the right, and you can go right down to the little bridge that we just passed, and then you can just continue on here and get a different view. You see a cute little wooden bridge up here. But this here is one part of Hammer Creek. It does run quite a ways according to the map. You can see the traffic there, the bridge. There's some debris in the water. We're going to be following it sort of from what I can tell. So we'll just keep going here. A little bit muddy today. It was supposed to be raining all day, and then when I woke up this morning I checked it again and it said it wasn't gonna rain until this evening. So I headed out, brought my rain poncho and a hat just in case. A couple of little spots here on the side that you can stop and look at the creek. Maybe when it's warmer out. Today it's like 46, 47 degrees. It's a little chilly and overcast. I wouldn't want to stick my toes in there today. I actually wore my Gore-Tex lined boots because of the mud. And oh, there's a little birdie over there on the creek. You can still hear some traffic here. It's not a real busy road. Oh, looky, a duck. Let's see if we can get the ducky. There's a couple of them. They're over there enjoying the water. Nice. But it's not too bad of a road out here. Mountain Road follows along the turnpike for a little while. It's the best way for me to come out here. Here comes someone down the trail. It's quiet out here other than that occasional car. I don't know why it looks, oh, there we go. And see, I want you to see the whole creek and not just the close-up. I mean, it's beautiful in its own way. Kind of, I don't know, reminds me of like the bayou or some kind of a marshy area. All the sounds of the birds and it being so wet and muddy today. But I have a good imagination, so. Spring. Spring is coming, even though it is a little chilly. I see signs of life and hear signs of life just about everywhere. So I passed 2 fishermen leaving so far. So I imagine this is a pretty popular spot for fishing. I know areas like this generally tend to get much more populated in the late spring and the summer months until it gets too hot. And then, from what I read in the review, and I can imagine, it gets pretty buggy back here. Just, it is so pretty. I can't really show up on my cell phone, but you can see all the beautiful rocks and stones below the water. Very clear. Oof, bit mucky. Oh, check this out. Little cascade there. Couple little cascades I see along here. This is so really pretty and just full of birds. I mean, you can hear all kinds of birds. Makes for a very nice and peaceful hike. It's not a long hike. I think it's supposed to only be like 3 miles. Let's take this little side path. All of these lead out to Hammer Creek. Just get to see different portions of it. It's very windy. You look at it on the map and it goes for quite a ways. It's a little area. I imagine some of these areas would be good for fishermen, probably without all that brush in the water, but just fabulous. I love it. Back on the main trail here. can see a couple of dog paw prints in the mud here. Maybe a dog back here. So we're coming up to another little bridge. Very muddy though. I just like that. I like how windy it is. I mean, look at that right there. It's coming around a corner and it's just like a stark or sharp turn to keep going. And here's this second little bridge here. Glad they did these little bridges. That's nice. Then you don't have to get your feet and shoes all wet. I mean, I did prepare, like I said, with my Gore-Tex, but I'd rather not step in full-on water. I don't know, this is probably one of the prettiest places I've been in a while. May become one of my favorite trails, my go-to. It's only like 10 minutes from my house. See, across the stream there is a gate of some sort. It's a metal gate and looks like some wire fencing. Some tires in the water. I've seen like 3 or 4 of them so far. And I'm getting stuck on these briars. Yeah, there's the gate over there. Okay, so at this point we're heading away from the creek. It continues on right past that iron gate. It goes off to your right and you're kind of following the trail off to your left here, and as you can see, pretty mucky today. Ick. Ay, ay. But still beautiful. I guess, yeah, that's why there was that gate. There's cows. I think they're cows out there in the distance. Somebody's property. It's an electrical fence, so don't trip and fall into it. Doesn't seem like that would be real pleasant. And here we go. Up a hill. I put some beams down, I guess for mud. Here's some kids on the other side of the creek off in the distance. And there's a little sign that tells you to keep on the trail. I guess it's because this to the right of me is private property. So right now I'm just walking along this path that's right by this field, and it's a big wide open field. The path, as you can see, is nice and easy to walk, and then over here to the left is all the wild brushy stuff. Yeah, it's a nice walk. I'm enjoying this immensely. So right at that field, just a little ways, we're not even a mile into this yet, you'll see another sign that points to the left to go back in the woods, or I see on the map there is a little footpath that goes sort of up and around the trees and back into the woods, but it doesn't look like there's much there. And because the sign says to go this way, I'm going to go this way. Although I do think you could go that way because there's still posts marking the trail. But we're going to go back down into the woods here. Ooh, it looks steep. Yeah, this trail that you turn back to the right to is very steep, so I'm taking baby steps to the bottom. I see there's a little bridge down there. And after this little bridge, you'll turn to the left. The trail looks like it used to go that way, but it's not showing on the map, so perhaps again that may be private property. We're gonna turn to the left here, and up here at a certain point I see that you can keep going back to your car, which would make a very short walk for anyone who just wanted to get out, maybe get a little bit of fresh air but didn't have much time. Because like I said, we're not even at a mile yet. But then there's a turn off to my right, it looks like, that makes the loop a little bit longer. Here we are, it's Oak Loop Trail. We'll be turning to the right here. Looks like we're going to be going up. We're at about 0.8 miles right now. So this trail is marked apparently with red blazes. Very well marked. The uphill was very short. So I guess you get a little bit of up and down on this trail. Oh, look at all that nice fungus. You can see the creek down onto the right of you as you're going through this woods part right now. See, hard to see through the trees and the brush, but there are spots like right here where you can really see it. But you do want to be careful and watch your footing. A lot of roots on the trail. Some areas worse than others, but you know, just be careful, of course. At 1.9 miles, I see a little trail off to the left here, which goes up and sort of back to the original loop. I guess if you just wanted to make it a medium length trail, I don't know, but we're gonna keep going forward. Just passed another hiker, an older gentleman had his trekking poles out. He said, "You're gonna get a little wet." I thought he meant just mud, but I see we're coming up to a little stream here. Little one, doesn't look bad. You can see over there, and you can see from the part of the trail that I just came down on, as you're looking down, all the skunk cabbage is up. It's everywhere. All right, let's get across this stream, or trickle. It's not much of one. Very pretty though, nonetheless. Goes winding around, probably back out to Hammer Creek. Try not to slip. Oof, more mud. Hi. Okay, coming up to another intersection for the Oak Loop Trail, and this will just make a loop, so you could probably go either way. We're gonna go to the right here, follow it around. Here's some of those roots I was telling you about. Gotta watch your footing, not be looking up or off to the side like I do sometimes. Nice little patch of pines over here. And it's still very well marked. I mean, you still see red blazes on the trees, and the path is very clear. Still birds, not as many as down in the other part, but still a nice quiet walk in the woods. So I'm headed pretty steeply down, not like super steep, but I see up ahead that I will be going back up, because you know what goes down must go up. Across a little trickle of a creek here, and then up that big long hill. Nice stones to step on this. Well, I guess there is over here, but I don't know if I'll use them. They look slipperier than if I would just traipse right through the mud. Beautiful little creek here. Starting to see some of the little snow crocus, I think they are, along the trail. Not quite open yet, but just there. Some of them are starting to open up. Okay, we're almost to the top of this hill, and look, nice little bench to take a break at. A good spot for a bench, you know, just coming up that hill. We're only about 1.7 miles in, so not quite halfway. Just taking a real quick break, listening to the birds. Kind of wish I would have brought my buff along. My ears are getting just a little cold. I'll live. So at the very top of this loop, oak loop, you're in the woods still on the path, but you're walking alongside a little road. I don't think you have to go out to the road at all. Up here it looks like it turns to the left back into the woods, but I guess you could go out to the road if that's what you wanted to do. About 2.5 miles, we're coming to another little bench here. This one has a plaque on it. Perhaps the other one did too, and I just didn't notice. But it hasn't rained yet, which is good. Still on the Oak Loop Trail, but almost to the end of it, and it will soon be meeting back up with the other side of the trail that goes back to my car. And ironically, the side we came up on right by the creek, I don't remember it saying Hammer Creek Trail, but the one we're connecting with to get back to the car, which is not along the creek, is called Hammer Creek Trail. I don't understand sometimes how they name these. And perhaps, you know, it used to be the only trail, and they put in one by the creek. I don't know. I'm just guessing. So I'm at about 3 miles in on my way back. And I guess another reason too they might call it the Hammer Creek Trail is because even though you're not right along the creek like you were early on, you're still overlooking the creek most of the way. So there's that. And it's very pretty. I love it. So we're back at the juncture we were when we turned right to continue on to the Oak Loop Trail. Just past a group of people with some kids. The stroller wasn't here before, so I'm assuming it's theirs. But the whole time I was actually on the most of the Oak Loop Trail. There was no people. And it's not crowded. I can't say that it's crowded. Like I said, there was 6 cars in the parking lot, including mine. And I saw 2 fishermen leaving when I first got here. An older gentleman on the first part of the Oak Loop Trail, and then this group of people that must have just started pretty short time ago, because this is coming up to closer to the end of the trail. This is the part we hadn't been on. Goes back to the car again. Nice wide grassy path. It's not very muddy on this part, which is good. You come up to a little gate here, and the trail goes right back to the parking lot up there. As you can see, there's the 2 paths here. The one to the left, what happens with that is where I showed you earlier on, where it went up the hill with a bunch of little, looked like I don't know, tree logs going uphill that extends the loop. You can go up this way and extend the loop if you just want to walk through the woods. So a couple little trails here, but did the main ones. There's some more people arriving down here in the parking lot, and we're almost done. So it wound up being 3.5 miles exactly for me. I'm back in the parking lot. As I was approaching, there was a family that was just coming in, I think, but it looked like they decided not to go. They all had rain boots on. I don't know, maybe they decided differently, but there's only 3 cars in the parking lot now. So we are expecting to get rain here shortly, but I made it. Did not get in the rain. The trail itself is absolutely gorgeous. I think this is going to be my go-to trail when I just need to get out of the house and walk by some beautiful water, hear some beautiful bird song, and, you know, just breathe the fresh air. I really recommend that you bring waterproof shoes or some Gore-Tex boots of some sort, because it is quite muddy in some of the areas, and there's 2 or 3 small, like really small stream crossings, as you saw. So it would be a good idea. And I do believe that during the late spring and during the summer, there's probably going to be quite buggy back here too. So you might want to bring a bug net or something like that and wear your insect repellent. But I had a really great time, and I'm so glad I made it out here. I can't wait to do a couple more trails that are not far from here. Just go up to Mountain Road and go under the turnpike, and there's a road called Dead End Road, and it has a couple of different trails to go up into Rennell Cattle area, into state game land. So I'm going to try to do them next. But I hope you're all having a great week, and I will see you next time. Namaste.